All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So, I'm still having lag issues with my computer. I have ordered a new computer, but unfortunately, it still hasn't arrived yet. It's just that my computer is getting really old. It's like an old grandpa with creaky bones, and unfortunately, the graphics card is now dead. So, you're probably watching this and it's a little bit jittery. We'll still try to power on because I still want to get through our weekly coding sessions. All right, so last few weeks, we've been talking about string manipulation. Um, Working with strings is an important part of Python or indeed any kind of coding. But then the next one that we were going to work on is maths. And in the beginning, before we sort of started to have like YouTube and tutorials like, on Google, um, when you wanted to learn programming, you had to learn maths first. Okay? And maths was like this core component. Nowadays, it isn't that important to know a big deal of maths in order to get started with coding. But when you are starting to get to the more professional level of coding, and when you are trying to do more and more difficult tasks, then maths becomes a lot more prevalent. Now, today I'm going to go through, I'm going to pick and choose some of the maths functions, and hopefully we will be able to go through a good chunk of them before we finish off tonight. I'm going to go into W3 Schools, Python, and then we'll have a look at the math classes. So here I'm going to save my project. Gary Maths 1. So this week and next week we'll be going through maths. But if you are a member who's watching this video and you want me to go through a different topic, then please suggest it to me. Please send it to me. I will go through any topic you want if you want to suggest it. Okay? Because what's most important to me is that us channel members are getting what we want to see. Okay, so if you want to learn about something in particular, about lists or tuples, or dictionaries, or OUCC questions, or anything like that, make sure you let me know. That way I can tailor these classes to you. All right, I'm going to adjust my screen, and you're gonna see that my screen is moving in slow motion all the time. I'm not even sure if you can hear my voice clearly because of the way that my computer is lagging. But like I said, it's a technical issue. We won't be able to fix it until I get a new computer. All right, let's see some Python math classes. When I say classes, they are like the modules, right? All right. Let's imagine that we have a iterable. Now, if I had an iterable and I wanted to find the biggest number or the smallest number. And in the past, what we would have done is we would have sorted it. We would have sorted the iterable into ascending order, and then you would get that last item if I wanted to find the biggest number. But you can't always sort. For example, tuples can't be sorted. Sets also can't be sorted. So how do we fix that? We use the min and the max method. So x equals min, and then we can put our iterable in here. And like, for example, if I say my tuple equals 462, x min, my tuple, no need to sort it, I'll still be able to return the smallest number. Oops. Print x, obviously. All right, and to do that, we can also get max. So y equals max, and then my tuple. And then print y. Okay. So min and max, always useful, always helpful. All right, what about the absolute function? By the way, these are math functions without using the math module, right? So if I go x equals abs function. Absolute function gets the absolute value. It gets the what do you call it? It gets the absolute value. What's that scientific word called? It gets the amplitude, something like that. It basically gets the size of the number with, and then it doesn't matter if it's a positive or negative number. It always gets the positive number. Okay, so here I'll say x equals the absolute value of -10, print x, and that will get me +10. Just notice that my body is covering up these bottom ones. Better sort that out for you. That might be better. All right, let's do another one. What about the power? The power function x, y, abs should also be that, max and min should also be like that. Gotta make sure we put in our brackets to not confuse ourselves a month down the track. Power x, y. So power function returns the value of x to the power of y. Okay, so x equals power 4, 3. We'll get 4 to the power of 3, which is 16 squared. So print x. Good. No, 16 to the power. 16 times 4. Jeez. Not 16 squared. That'd be crazy. Other more useful math functions are ones that we actually have to import the math module. So let's go import math. Ceiling, which means to round up. So if I go x equals math.ceil. So if you are using a function inside the math module, you need to type in math first, math dot. Math ceil 1.4. So even though this is closer to 1 rather than 2, it's going to return the number 2. And it's because ceiling forces it to round up. Let's have a look at floor, which is to round down. If I go x equals math dot floor 1.4, it's going to force it to round down. Even if my number was really close, it was like 1.9 or something. In fact, I'll do that. I'll go 1.9. Print x, it's still going to round down. Okay, you can see that there. It ends with the number 1. What about rounding? Just standard old rounding. Then I can go x equals math dot round 1.5, and then it's going to round it the way that you learned in school. So if it's 5 and above, it's going to round. Ooh, hold on. Doesn't have the round method. Do we not have the round method in Python? I'm going to double check that. No, there is a round method, just not in the math function. So here, if I go like that, that's going to give me the proper rounding. Okay. In fact, I think I'll put that back here with the functions that we didn't need to import the math module for. Interesting. That's the thing, when you've done a lot of code, you start to have all the code blending in with each other. What about pi? So if I go x equals math.pi, you're going to notice that Python is going to make an approximation of pi. It's not going to be all infinite digits of pi, as for all computers, right? Because we just cannot represent the number pi in our maths. So we have to have an approximation of it. So if I go print x, you're going to have a number that is an approximation, which is this many digits. Should probably be typing here as well. If you join this stream and you have suggestions on what you want me to talk about, make sure you let me know. That way I can talk about something that's interesting to you, and it's important for me to talk about something interesting to you because you are a member and you are awesome. Alright, I'm not going to go through all the trigonometry stuff because it's a little boring for the people who are in here. But what I'll do is I'm going to post the math modules, the complete list, into our chat. So if you are doing OUCC or AIO or something like that, you should be allowed to have some code references near you. So for us, we would be using these Python documentation, these Python libraries. Make sure that you have this close by, or at least typed up, so that you can check out these shortcuts before you tackle any maths problems. What's something interesting that we can test with math? Oh, you can get highest common factor, GCD, greatest common divisor. That's cool. You see, we used to have a activity where we would get students to find the highest common factor of a number, of a couple of numbers, but looks like there is a math function for that. Highest common factor, greatest common divisor. So I'll go and check out this method, see how it's used. If I go print math.gcd 3628, where's that number 4? That's cool. How about 24? Gonna come out with 12? Yeah, it does. You know what? I did not know that existed. So that's why checking it out, reading your code documentation is really important. That's really cool. What about factorial? Factorial is when you have a number and then you multiply it by one less than the number, and you keep on going until you multiply it by 1. So if I go like 9 factorial, print math dot factorial 9. I'm going to see. Comes out with a massive number. Because it's 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Alright, pretty quiet on this stream today, but that's okay. I'll leave this up for people to look back on, see what they've missed. And of course, if you have any questions, make sure you type it out in the chat or in the comments, or send me an email. If you have any suggestions for topics that you want me to go through, make sure you do that as well. Okay. Alright, that's it from me today. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.